What's up, everybody? Joe White here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about AEW. First, let's get this out of the way. AEW Full Gear is November the 23rd, which is tomorrow, and I'm going to give you my predictions for this horribly built up, horribly booked event full of matches that no one's going to take seriously. Um, let's see here. Let's start with Big Boom AJ with Big Justice versus QT Marshall. Um, the RZR will serve as special. Does this not sound like a damn? I mean, no offense to anybody who runs indie shows, but this sounds like an indie show match that you would see an opening car for, like the opening on a BFE indie match in Spartanburg, South Carolina, somewhere where they have the Doink the Clown ripoff going up against failed wrestler number 45. That's what this match sounds like. It belongs on that type of a card. I don't care who wins. What is this, the Costco guy from TikTok? Stop, if WWE were to do this, okay, and they have done this in the past, they would have gotten raked over the coals for this by people, by everybody, not just Meltzer, by everybody. Why is WWE bringing in social media stars that no one cares about? Nobody cares about these people. These people don't belong on wrestling shows. Yada, 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 yada. We've heard it time and time again when they would bring in people. And yes, this Big Boom AJ used to be a pro wrestler, but he hasn't wrestled in many years. He's known as the Costco guy. What the fuck is that? I mean, just stupidity. MJF versus Roderick Strong. All this buildup of Adam Cole maybe finally getting his hands on him. And now you have him versus Roderick Strong. That no one cares about Roderick Strong. To tell you the truth, nobody really cares about MJF anymore because they booked him into oblivion. MJF wins. Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. On paper, this looks good. The build-up has just been mad, just like every other storyline in AEW. I hope Jay White beats him. Private Party versus the Outrunners versus the Kings of the Black Throne versus the Acclaimed in a four-way match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Private Party are going in as the champions. Who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, this is so meh. This entire card, the entire build-up for this card is meh. Private Party retains. Ugh. Mercedes Monet with Camille versus Chris Statlander for the TBS Championship. You're going to see a lot of interference in this from Camille and all this, and it's just the experiment. The Mercedes Monet AEW experiment has failed. She needs to go back to WWE where she'll be relevant again. Hell, I don't even know if fans will make her relevant again if she goes back there. But who cares? This whole thing is just like, I don't care. That should be the name of the pay-per-view instead of Full Gear. AEW presents I Don't Care 2024. Let's see here. What's next? Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. This is the only one that's had a little bit of build to it. This is the only one that's had any kind of, logical build to it, even though it's just the build makes sense, but I don't want to see the damn match. But Swerve Strickland needs to win here. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. I don't care. How many times do I have to say it? I don't care. Why, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this, guys? Tell me. Why am I making myself go crazy here on YouTube? Uh, Jack Perry needs to win. Okay, yay. Yay for him. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. This is another one that has had a decent amount of build and a decent amount of good build for this. In a singles match. I think maybe Kyle Fletcher needs to get the win here because Will Ospreay can afford to lose. And you're trying to build up Kyle Fletcher as stepping out of Will Ospreay's shadow. Well, how can he step out of Will Ospreay's shadow if he doesn't beat Will Ospreay? So this one intrigues me. I'm looking forward to seeing it. These two are good friends. We know they could probably have a hell of a match. And they're going to have a hell of a match. Konosuke Takeshita versus Ricochet for the International Championship. Again, who cares? They've done a horrible job of Ricochet. Ricochet probably will lose. And then we come to Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. Singles match. It's not gonna be a singles match. You're gonna see the Death Riders coming in. And then you're gonna see the conglomeration or conglomeration, whatever they're called nowadays, moving in. And I think there's no way in hell. There's no way if they put the championship on pockets, if they put the championship, the world title on pockets, it doesn't matter how much money you pump into production. It doesn't matter how small a venue you run. The promotion's dead if they put this damn title on pockets. Because I'm sorry, but 3,000 indie fans in Reseda may like this motherfucker and may get, oh, the pockets is a good gimmick. It's good. He can see he's athletic. He can do all this stuff with the hands in the pocket. No. It's stupid. It's illogical. I don't like it. I don't want to see him again. Unless he reinvents himself and comes out, maybe joins the Death Riders and say, hey, no, I'm going to come out in pants that don't have pockets now. Or something like that. Get as far away from the I don't care gimmick. Then again, the gimmick fits the pay-per-view. I don't care. But, and then you got Moxley on the other hand, who's trying this new character. It's totally flopped. It totally doesn't work. It totally doesn't fit. He looks like a broken down, as Jim Cornette calls him, Plumber Moxley. Because that's what he looks like. He looks like an old, broken down plumber who's worked for Roto-Rooter for the last 30 years and has decided now to go into business for himself. Old Rooter Moxley. Let's call him Moxley the Rooter. Anyway, that's my predictions for Full Gear. I don't care. Ugh. I don't care about any of this. Any of it. There's two matches on this pay-per-view that I really care about. And in the grand scheme of AEW, they really don't mean shit. Because they're not for titles. And they're stepping stones as to what could happen next. What could happen, not what will happen. Because 9 times out of 10, what could happen is not what will happen because you got a crackhead or cokehead booking this shit. Which leads me to my next point when it comes to AEW. There's been a lot of talk in recent days. Excuse me. Oh, man. There's been a lot of talk in recent days about AEW finally moving. They're finally doing it. They're finally going to start running in smaller venues. And I did a whole video about the only reason why they haven't done it before now is because of a set piece in production. Which, again, do you realize how asinine that sounds? They should be able to adapt to any building on the fly. But apparently, no, they can't do that. They can't do that. So they're running smaller buildings now. They're doing one in Ohio. They went from the big arena in Columbus to some convention center, and it's running in tandem with some Comic Con, which is cool. That's their audience. That's what they need to be preaching to, the hardcores. Or the sickos, as Tony, I don't even get that, the sickos. If anybody's a sicko, it's him. Just look at the sugar bowl he has sitting next to him in gorilla position. But anyway, allegedly. Don't so you have them moving into smaller buildings. Hooray! They're adapting. All that's doing really is admitting that we can't draw 17,000 people per show like WWE does. We can't fill the big arenas. It's admitting defeat. And rightfully so, they should admit defeat. But at the end of the day, it's probably what's best for them. It's what's best for that company. However, it does not, nobody's speaking to the big factor in this. Why are they only drawing 3,000 people? Why are their ratings steadily going down or stagnating and staying the same? And I say this every video I do about AEW, but why not change this one? I'm not gonna change it now. It's Tony Khan's booking. The man should not be anywhere near a book. Him booking for the sickos, guess what? You only have 3,000 sickos that show up per show. Maybe instead of booking for the sickos, you should be booking to a more broader audience like what WWE does. Then maybe you can draw 10,000. The only time you don't draw, or the only time you draw over 3,000 people, are for pay-per-views and bigger events. That's it. So clearly, booking for the quote-unquote sickos is not working. And Dave Meltzer is out there going, well, Tony books for the sickos, and it's okay. No, it's not okay, Dave. It's not okay to... Dave Meltzer thinks it's perfectly okay to be drawing 3,000 people in an arena? No. You should want more than that. And then you got Moxley and everybody else out there going, we're rebuilding. Nothing else matters before now. You think? Nothing else has mattered before now, dude. But how many times have they hit the reset button over the last 5 years? How many times have they said, it's a new day, it's a new era in AEW? How many times? And it hasn't worked. It has not worked. And you can't tell me it is working when the attendance figures, except for pay-per-views and big, like, super cards, are going down every week. Normal episodes of Dynamite and Collision, they're going down. When television ratings are steadily on the decline or steadily stagnant. It's not okay. You should want to be achieving more than that. For the first 2 years, they did. And if you ask somebody, why don't you watch it? They'll tell you straight up, because the product is stupid. They have no problem telling you why they don't watch this show, because the product is stupid. The booking is nonsensical. Shit just gets dropped for no reason. Tony Khan has now become Vince McMahon. He won't let it go. He thinks his way is right, despite what people tell him. The only difference is you have your critics out there like a Dave Meltzer who called out Vince McMahon each and every week on his bullshit, but they won't do this. They won't do that for Tony Khan. They just say, oh, it's a cold product and it's hard to get a cold product to turn around. Or they got to get their storylines in check. Why do they got to get their storylines in check, Dave? Is it because they got a damn snowman booking the stuff? And it shows, too, just the way shit gets dropped, the way shit gets picked up again 6 months later when your audience has forgotten about it because you've conditioned them to forget about it. The way you sit out there in press conferences with bug eyes wearing women's clothing and talking about people just want to see good matches. I mean, come on, dude. Have you not learned that people just they it's not always about the good matches. No. It's about good storylines. That's what pro wrestling is. It's about taking wrestler A and wrestler B, creating a feud and a storyline that makes you want to see them fight. Not just taking random wrestler A and throwing them in the ring with wrestling B, and maybe they'll have good matches, and that'll be enough. No, it's not enough. Never has been enough. Never will be enough. Anyway, folks, let me know what you think about all this. I mean, you can up your production value all you want to. The phrase polish a turd comes to mind. If you polish a turd, guess what? It's still a turd. It's still a turd. You can polish that turd up all you want to. You can move it and make it look good all you want to. But until you change the booking and until we get Tony Khan out of there, which is never going to happen, it's still a turd. So that's the main problem that we need to be addressing as fans. That's the main problem that is taking this turd and making it bigger and bigger and bigger in the punch bowl. Anyway, folks, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll see you down the road.